Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Here we are, two of us today.
Yay.
These are laws that make zero sense until you hear the story behind them.
Ah, right. There's probably quite a lot of those about.
I love hearing like backstories to things that sort of like, you know, you do sort of like things you do every day, and all of a sudden there's a backstory to it, and you think, I didn't know that.
It's very, very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff like that where you just don't know why.
Certain phrases as well.
Certain phrases, words, sort of like laws and things like that.
We did it the other day with one where we were saying ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And the next thing, picture of ducks in a row.
It was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre.
Should we go? Let's go.
Let's do it then.
Let's get right into it. Number 9, the red flag panic. Imagine needing 3 people just to drive your car. In 1865, Britain, that was the law. 1 to drive,
Had to be
1 to
Britain.
shovel coal, and 1 poor soul who had to walk in front waving a red flag to warn people that a car was coming. The speed limit? That's slower than a toddler learning to walk. But here's the real story. This wasn't about safety. This was about money and fear. The railroad companies saw these new, horseless carriages and panicked. They could see their monopoly crumbling, so they did what any threatened industry does. They called their friends in government. The law worked exactly as intended. While Germany and France were building the future, British inventors couldn't even properly test their vehicles. For 30 years, Britain's car industry was stuck in neutral, while the rest of the world zoomed past. When they finally scrapped this ridiculous law in 1896, people celebrated with a car race from London to Brighton. They called it the Emancipation Run, freedom for cars. They still hold this race every year, with vintage cars puttering along at speeds that would have been illegal back then. Number 8, the ice cream pocket law. In parts of the South, it's illegal to walk around with an ice cream cone in your back pocket. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well,
Why would you?
buckle up for the story behind this one. Back when horses were the main transportation, they were expensive, really expensive. Like buying a luxury car today expensive. This created a market for horse thieves, but not the lasso-wielding kind you see in movies. These criminals were sneaky geniuses. They'd stroll past someone's prized horse with an ice cream cone tucked in their back pocket. The horse, being a horse, would smell that sweet treat and start following like a 4-legged puppy. If the owner
Yeah, done it with kids now over here, haven't they? Certain parts of the country.
Jesus.
caught them, the thief would just shrug. Officer, I can't help it if this horse has a sweet tooth. Regular theft laws couldn't touch them. They weren't technically stealing. The horse was choosing to follow them. It's like if someone stole your dog by walking past with bacon in their pocket. The law had to be super specific because these ice cream bandits had found the perfect loophole. And yes, this law is still on the books today. So next time you're in Kentucky with a cone, keep it in your hands where it belongs. Number 7, no donkeys in bathtubs. Picture this. Arizona, 1924. A donkey discovers the perfect bed, an old metal bathtub behind its owner's house. This wasn't just any donkey. This was a donkey with taste. Then one night, disaster struck. A dam burst, sending a wall of water through the tiny town. But our bathtub-loving friend? He turned into the world's first donkey sailor. That metal tub became his personal lifeboat, carrying him a full mile downstream like nature's most confused cruise ship passenger. The entire town dropped everything for the rescue mission. Picture grown adults with ropes and pulleys, trying to explain to their bosses why they're late. Sorry, had to save a donkey in a bathtub. Hours of work. Emergency funds drained. All for one waterlogged donkey who probably wondered why his bed went for a swim. The town officials were so frustrated about blowing their emergency budget on Operation Bathtub Donkey that they supposedly banned donkeys from sleeping in bathtubs forever. But here's where it gets wild. This famous law, it might be completely made up. Despite being America's most famous, weird law, nobody has ever found actual proof it exists in Arizona's law books. Number 6,
Not a law,
the coffin
then.
torpedo.
Yeah.
The 1800s had a disturbing problem. Grave robbing was big business. Medical schools needed bodies for students to practice on, and they weren't picky about where they came from. This created a whole industry of body snatchers who'd dig up fresh graves for profit. Enter Philip K. Clover and his 1878 invention, the coffin torpedo. This wasn't some gentle alarm system. This was a shotgun rigged to fire if anyone tried to open the coffin. Imagine being a grave robber, prying open a coffin lid, and suddenly, boom! A fountain of lead balls erupts through the dirt. These devices...
I wonder if that's still a thing, grave robbery. It took a bit of a... I'm sure it took a bit of a spike not so long ago because people were being buried with jewellery
That's right.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Which you find bizarre, but, you know, it's... You know, So people were sort of like going in, people were buried with their treasures, sort of thing.
That's
and people
right.
were stealing, robbing the
Oh,
graves.
yeah. I don't think it's as big a thing as it used to be, clearly. But
I watched a video not long ago, and some guy got arrested for robbing a grave, not far from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was like, and I thought, is that still like very rarely hear about it, don't
I
you?
was going to say it's not something that's
You'd have to
on
know.
a regular
You'd have
basis.
to know, wouldn't you, that someone had been buried with like.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, you have to be a little bit disturbed.
Oh, it's very
be-
much so. You
yeah.
have to be pretty fit as well to dig up a grave and
with
stuff
JC,
like that.
these
you
like
know.
little diggers now, isn't they?
Yeah, but
You can quite easily get a digger and a little small one, little
Yeah.
small backhoe. It's like,
Exactly.
one man sort of like little
but
thing.
obviously cremation's a big thing, so that stops all that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So,
It does.
Were terrifyingly effective. Newspapers reported mysterious explosions from graveyards at night. Come morning, they'd find scattered tools and, let's just say the grave robbers learned their lesson the hard way. But this created a huge legal mess. Could you set up a deadly trap to protect property when you weren't even there? What if an innocent person triggered it? These cases from the 1880s actually shaped our modern laws about booby traps. Turns out, you can't just rig your property with explosives, even if someone's trying to steal from you. Number 5. The hatpin hazard. Picture a crowded bus in 1910. You're squeezed between passengers when, ow, something stabs your arm. Blood trickles down. You've just been impaled by a woman's hatpin. Back then, women's hats were enormous. We're talking pizza box sized. To keep these fashion statements from flying away, women used metal pins over a foot long, sharp enough to pierce, well, anything. In 1908, things got serious when a man died on a New York train. Cause of death? Accidental hatpin to the head. Cities started passing emergency laws. Chicago banned pins over 9 inches without protective covers. Police officers actually carried rulers to measure women's hatpins on the street. Get caught with an illegal pin? That's a $50 fine, about $1,500 today. But women fought back with a powerful argument. These pins were their only protection against creeps on public transport. One Chicago woman told the judge straight up, "If men want to take our hatpins, make the streets safe first." Newspapers regularly ran stories like, "Woman defeats thug with hatpin." While men could carry guns and knives, women faced fines for their fashion-based self-defense. The whole panic ended when fashion changed to smaller hats. Number 4. The window tax. In 1696, the English government found the worst possible...
Hang on a minute. Aren't we trying to reinstate this now?
I'm not sure actually,
Or
but
is
I
it
do-
the bedroom tax?
might be a bedroom tax sort of thing. I've definitely heard of the window tax.
Yeah.
You still, yeah. Well, it'll obviously go into the details, but you still see old houses now where windows have been sort of like bricked up. Yeah,
because of that.
Because of the amount of windows, they paid more tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another
So the
trying-
bedroom tax is a
Similar thing.
Similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
way to collect
Tax on
taxes.
tax over here.
They charged
Oh, I know.
people for having windows. The logic seemed reasonable at first. Rich people had big houses with lots of windows. Poor people had small houses with few windows. Tax the windows, tax the wealthy. Simple, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. People immediately started boarding up their windows. Landlords bricked them up permanently to save money, but kept charging the same rent for now darker rooms. Builders started designing houses with fewer windows from the start. You can still see these buildings today, with weird blank walls where windows should be. Without sunlight and fresh air, diseases exploded. Tuberculosis, cholera, typhus. They spread like wildfire through these dark, airless buildings. People literally died because their landlords didn't want to pay window tax. This disaster lasted 156 years. 156 years of people living in darkness to avoid a tax. Walk through old parts of England today, and you'll still see the scars. Buildings with bricked-up windows. Monuments to one of history's most harmful taxes. Number 3. The Great Stink Laws. Summer 1858. London didn't just smell bad. It smelled so horrific that people were collapsing in the street.
Isn't it funny how some of this shit's come back around again? Hey?
It's-
Stinks of shit now.
You always say, things come back into
Yeah.
fashion and, things from the past. So, it's a thing these days as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's known as the shithole, isn't it? Used to be known as the old smoke, now it's the shithole.
The source? The River Thames had become the world's largest open toilet. See, London had a law requiring every building to connect to the sewer system. Sounds good, right? Except all those sewers dumped straight into the Thames. They'd basically turned their main river into a giant sewage soup, then acted surprised when it started cooking in the summer heat. The smell was so overwhelming that Parliament had to shut down. These were the people who made the laws, and they couldn't even stay in their own building. They tried everything, hanging curtains soaked in chemicals, burning incense. Nothing worked. Finally, choking on the consequences of their own decisions. Parliament did something incredible. They passed a massive infrastructure law in just 18 days, the fastest any law had ever moved through the system. They hired engineer Joseph Bazalgette to save them. When he calculated how big the sewers needed to be, he doubled it. Everyone called him crazy for overbuilding. Those oversized sewers are why London's system still works today. Bazalgette didn't just solve the immediate crisis. He future-proofed the city for growth he couldn't even imagine. Sometimes the best solutions come from the worst situations. Number 2, the anti-dueling laws. The 1800s had a weird problem. Grown men kept shooting at each other over petty insults. It got so bad that states had to get creative with their laws. Simply banning duels didn't work. Why? Because refusing a duel meant being labeled a coward, and that was social suicide, especially for politicians, who apparently preferred actual suicide to social suicide. The most famous example, Alexander Hamilton, founding father and first Secretary of the Treasury, died in a duel with Aaron Burr, the sitting vice president. Let that sink in. The vice president shot and killed a founding father over an insult. So lawmakers got clever. They didn't just ban dueling. They made it impossible to hold public office if you'd ever been in a duel. Every candidate had to swear an oath. Lie about it? That's perjury. Duel after taking office? You're fired. In Kentucky, this law still exists. Every public official, even DMV workers, has to promise they've never challenged anyone to mortal combat. It sounds silly now, but it was genius then. These laws gave men a face-saving excuse. I'd love to shoot you at dawn, but I might want to run for city council someday. And just like that, they ended a culture where people felt obligated to risk their lives over words. Number 1, the Paris bread law. After the French Revolution, Paris made one thing crystal clear: never mess with the bread. In 1789, bread prices were so high that people spent 88% of their income just to eat. Imagine spending $3,500 of your $4,000 monthly paycheck on bread alone. No wonder they started a revolution. The new government wasn't taking chances. They created a law requiring bakeries to coordinate their vacations. Every baker had to register when they wanted time off. The government made sure at least one bakery in every neighborhood stayed open. Always. No exceptions. This law lasted until 2015. For 225 years, Paris never woke up without fresh bread available. When they finally scrapped it, newspapers predicted the baguette crisis and the end of French culture. The French take bread so seriously that another law defines exactly what a traditional baguette can contain: flour, water, salt, and yeast. Add anything else? You legally can't call it traditional. In 2022, UNESCO added the French baguette to its protected cultural heritage list, right up there with the pyramids and the Great Wall of China. Because in France, bread isn't just food. It's a promise that history won't repeat itself. That's all for today.
Yeah, fair enough with the bread. It's nice. It's always nice. I like the smell of bread, fresh baked bread.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
So if you got that going through the sort of like the city of Paris and
it's better than the smell of coming through the city of London, isn't it?
Exactly. I'd rather smell that.
There's worse things. So
but the problem is, it's all with Paris. It's all sort of like clouded by the smoking they do. So the bread might smell fresh, but then all of a sudden someone's smoking some kind of cigarette
everywhere. And, not
because
not
they
quite
are.
so
I don't know if they still are. I've not been to Paris for about 5-6 years, but
we're big smokers.
Big smokers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it seemed that everyone smoked.
I can't believe it's up there with UNESCO. So
I can. It's things like you've got to appreciate stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Things from the past and everything. Keep the thing going.
It's still known over here. I mean, we call them French sticks though over here. We don't call them French baguettes. You can buy a baguette.
Yeah.
But it's not French baguette. You buy a French stick, but just a baguette.
Yeah, whether it's made of the same stuff. Don't know, probably fairly similar. I mean, I'm guessing most breads are pretty fairly similar ingredients, aren't they? But some really interesting ones there.
There was, but I can see that window tax. I know, like I say, it's I can imagine them doing that in Britain because they'll tax you on tax.
Oh,
I think we pay tax for tax. Something you've already earned and you pay tax on, use it again, you pay tax on it again, and if you save it, you pay tax on it again.
I know.
It's just you get about 5 pence in a pound now paid to you.
It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? And it's going to get worse in a few weeks, I think. But that's another story, isn't it?
But it's, I think that might cause that same sort of like uprising again of people going, I don't think so. We've had enough now.
Yeah, it gets to a point, doesn't it, where people think, nah.
Yeah, we can't pay anymore. We can't, it's impossible. But some interesting stuff on there.
Yeah, really
Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.